We exist in a world of invisible wires. We walk through our days believing we are free, believing we are the authors of our own thoughts and the captains of our own destiny. But this is the first and greatest lie. Look closely at your life. Look at the patterns that repeat, year after year, like a broken record. The anger you promise to control but cannot. The fear that grips you when you should be strong. The attraction to people who are bad for you. An attraction that feels like gravity. You are not operating yourself. You are being operated. There is a mechanism at work, a cause and effect that predates you. We look at the universe and we see the uncaused cause. The creator who set the stars in motion, who designed the intricate magic of a single cell. That is the macrocosm. But inside you, in the microcosm of the human soul, there is another cause at work. It is an ancient infection, a hereditary madness that has been passed down from father to son, from mother to daughter since the very beginning of time. You see, we are born into a fallen state. This is not just religious terminology. It is a description of reality. It is a description of a psychological fracture. When a child enters this world, they are like a sponge, soaking up the atmosphere of their home. And what is that atmosphere? It is a mixture of love and corruption. It is the anxiety of the mother, the hidden rage of the father, the unspoken resentments that hang in the air like smoke. We inherit a nature that is prone to slavery. We inherit a will that is not our own. Have you ever asked yourself why you do the things you hate? Why you eat when you are not hungry? Why you shout when you want to be calm? It is because something else has made a home in you, a program, a script written by the dead. Most people spend their entire lives reacting to this program. They think their reactions are them. They say, I am an angry person, or I am a depressive person. No, you are a person suffering from anger. You are a person oppressed namaks by depression. These are foreign entities. They are parasitic. They feed on your life force because they have no life of their own. And the tragedy, the absolute tragedy, is that we defend these parasites. We identify with them. We protect the very things that are killing us because they feel familiar. We call it personality, but it is not personality. It is pathology. Let us examine the architecture of conflict. We think of conflict as two people fighting, a husband and a wife, a soldier and an enemy, a political left and a political right. But that is the surface illusion. True conflict is always spiritual. It is a war of energies. When you stand before a tyrant, whether that tyrant is a dictator on a television screen or a spouse screaming in your kitchen, you are not dealing with a person. You must understand this. You are never dealing with a person. You are dealing with a principality. You are dealing with a force that has hijacked that person. The tyrant, the bully, the manipulator, they are actually weak. They are hollow. Because they have lost their connection to the true source of power, the creator, they are starving. They are spiritually empty, and a vacuum must be filled. So how do they fill it? They try to steal energy from you. This is the secret mechanism of all human abuse. The abuser needs your reaction. They need your fear. They need your anger. If they can get you to flinch, they have entered you. If they can get you to scream back, they have successfully downloaded their chaos into your system. It is a transfer of spirits. Think of it like a martial art. If an opponent throws a punch and you tense up to block it, you absorb the impact. You are engaging with their force. But if you are like water, if you are void, the punch passes through empty space. It hits nothing. The energy returns to the sender. But we do not do this. We are addicted to the fight. There is a perverse pleasure in it. When we get angry, we feel powerful for a moment. It is a false power, a bad power, but it is intoxicating. It rushes through the veins like a drug. And like any drug, it demands a higher dose next time. This is why we see the cycle of abuse repeat. The victim and the victimizer are locked in a dance of mutual destruction. The woman who hates her father marries a man just like him, not because she wants to suffer, but because her nature is magnetically drawn to the familiar trauma. She is trying to resolve the past by repeating it. But you cannot resolve the past by repeating it. You can only resolve it by transcending it. We must speak of something dangerous now. We must speak of the collapse of the natural order. In a sane world, the masculine and the feminine principles are balanced. They are the sun and the moon, the rock and the ocean. But we do not live in a sane world. We live in a world where the poles have flipped. We see men who have become soft, porous, unable to stand for anything. They are nice. But niceness is not goodness. Niceness is often cowardice masquerading as virtue. A nice man who cannot say no is a dangerous man, because he will eventually resent his own weakness, and that resentment will rot him from the inside out. He becomes passive-aggressive. He smiles while he plots, and we see women who have had to become hard, because the men are weak. The women feel unsafe, and a woman who feels unsafe becomes a warrior, but not a true warrior. She becomes a controller. She tries to manage everything, to dominate the environment, because she trusts no one to protect her. She becomes the mother to her husband, scolding him, directing him, losing all respect for him. This inversion creates a civilization of misery. The men are looking for mothers, not wives. The women are looking for projects, not husbands. And the sexual polarity, the true spark of creation, dies. It is replaced by a desperate, scratching need for validation. The man seeks sex not as an act of love, but as an act of reassurance. He wants to return to the womb. He wants to be comforted. Or he wants to conquer, to punish the woman for the power she holds over him. And the woman? She uses her body as a bargaining chip, as a weapon, or she gives it away in a desperate bid to be held, to be seen, to be safe. It is all a distortion. It is the girl of your dreams becoming the nightmare of schemes. It is the knight in shining armor becoming the tyrant in the living room. And notice how this plays out in the mind. When a man hates his mother, perhaps she was overbearing, perhaps she was cruel, he develops a hidden rage toward the feminine. But nature is tricky. That rage does not extinguish his desire. It twists it. Anger and sexuality are neighbors in the brain. They are wires that cross. So he begins to sexualize his anger. He becomes attracted to the very thing that hurts him. He becomes a slave to the femme fatale, or he seeks to degrade what he desires. This is the origin of perversion. It is not natural. It is a spiritual wound that has festered into a lifestyle. It is a desperate attempt to find love in the wreckage of the soul. Now, take this dysfunction of the family and multiply it by 300 million. What do you get? You get the modern state. The government is merely the shadow of the collective family. When the people are weak, when they are childish, when they cannot govern their own impulses, they cry out for a ruler. They cry out for a daddy to protect them or a mommy to feed them. We have created a society of victims, and a victim always needs a savior. But the state is a false savior. The state is a predator that poses as a benefactor. It says, "Give me your freedom, and I will give you safety. Give me your responsibility, and I will give you bread." Look at the social engineers, the politicians, the experts. They understand Pavlov's dogs better than you do. They know that if they can keep you in a state of constant fear, fear of the weather, fear of the virus, fear of the neighbor, fear of the future, you will revert to a childlike state. You will stop thinking. You will simply obey. They use intimidation, they use shame. If you don't do this, you are a bad person. If you don't believe this, you are dangerous. It is the same voice as the abusive parent. It is the same mechanism. And just like in the dysfunctional family, the nice bullies are the worst. The politician with the smooth voice and the perfect smile, who promises to take care of everyone. He is the one you must watch. He is the enabler who kills you with kindness. He destroys your spine by removing your need to stand. They want you to be a number. They want you to be a statistic. They want you to be a resource. They do not want you to be a sovereign soul connected to the Creator, because a sovereign soul cannot be ruled. A sovereign soul does not fear their threats. A sovereign soul looks at the piano falling from the sky and simply steps aside unimpressed. So what is the remedy? How do we break a program that has been running for thousands of years? How do we step out of the matrix of reaction? It is not through fighting. You cannot fight darkness with more darkness. You cannot fight hate with hate. You cannot fight a bully by becoming a bigger bully. That is just two beasts tearing each other apart in the dirt. The remedy is what I call patient endurance. This is a specific mechanical action of the will. It is the act of being still in the face of provocation. It is the refusal to respond to the signal. Imagine you are a radio. The world is constantly broadcasting signals of anger, lust, fear, and resentment. These signals are trying to tune you in. They want to play their song through your speakers. Patient endurance is the ability to recognize the signal but not vibrate with it. When your wife insults you, or your husband ignores you, or the news tries to terrify you, you feel the surge. You feel the old program kicking in. The chest tightens, the adrenaline spikes, the thought comes, I need to say something, I need to fix this, I need to attack. In that microsecond, you have a choice. It is the only real choice you ever have. You can go with the feeling and become a slave again. Or you can endure the discomfort of doing nothing. This is not passivity. This is the hardest thing you will ever do. It burns. It feels like you are dying. And in a way, you are. The ego, the false self, the reactor, the animal, is being starved of its food. It screams. It demands satisfaction. But if you hold that line, if you wait, if you watch the emotion without becoming the emotion, a miracle happens. The wave breaks, the energy dissipates, and you are left standing in a clarity that is not of this world. You begin to see the other person not as a monster, but as a prisoner. You see that they are being driven by a force they cannot control. And because you are not reacting, you are not feeding their demon. You are cutting off the fuel supply. This is how you exorcise a house. You don't use holy water. You use holy silence. You use a strength that is so grounded, so absolute, that the chaos crashes against it and dissolves. This strength does not come from you. Let us be very clear about this. You, in your natural state, are weak. You are easily fooled. You are easily triggered. This strength comes from the connection to the Creator. It is the grace that enters when the ego steps aside. When you stop trying to be the God of your own life, when you admit that you are lost, when you humble yourself before the mystery, that is when the power enters. It is a good power. It is a gentle power. It is the power that grows the grass and spins the planets. It does not need to shout. When you have this, you do not need to demand respect. You command it without speaking. A dog knows when it is in the presence of a pack leader. A human knows, instinctively, when they are in the presence of a man or woman who owns themselves. You become dangerous to the system, not because you are violent, but because you are free. You become the glitch in the matrix. You become the one who says no, not with anger, but with a quiet, terrifying certainty. This is the only hope for our country. This is the only hope for our world. We do not need more laws. We do not need more wars. We need men and women who have conquered the war inside themselves. We need fathers who can look at a rebellious child and not lose their temper but guide them with firm love. We need mothers who can nurture without smothering. We need leaders who serve the truth, not the poll numbers. It starts with you. It starts in the silence of your own room. It starts with the next temptation that comes your way. When the urge to drink comes, or the urge to lash out, or the urge to despair, stop, wait, look at it, starve it, endure. Patient endurance means God is with you. And if God is with you, the world can fall apart around you, and you will not be moved. You will be the eye of the storm. You will be the foundation stone of a new world, built not on the shifting sands of reaction, but on the solid rock of the eternal. The choice is yours. It always has been. Wake up.